Welcome to the deep dive. You send us your sources, we dig through them, and basically pull out the key info and sometimes surprising details to get you quickly up to speed.
And today, yeah, we're focusing on documents a listener sent about a Cleantech network. It's called CARDI. That's Cleantech Advocacy Research Development Investments.
Exactly. And we've got quite a mix here. Bits of planning docs, website drafts, tech descriptions.
And even this really detailed case study, it's about the founder of CARDI's parent company, which adds another layer.
Right. So the mission for this deep dive, figure out what this CARDI network actually is, how it's supposed to work.
And maybe the most interesting part, uncover some of the backstory, the context around how it even came about.
Okay, let's jump right in. We have this CARDI Network Brainstorm document. That gives us the early picture.
Yeah, and right off the bat, it tells us CARDI is a subsidiary. It sits under a company called Harmonic Sentience.
And its core idea seems to be acting as like an aggregator, pulling together all sorts of clean tech elements.
Exactly. Yeah. Syndicated content, research papers, technologies, the companies themselves, key people. It's meant to be a central hub.
They're also very specific about the feel they want, professional, but also green and earthy, watery.
With a futuristic vibrance, that's quite a combination they're aiming for.
It really is. Trying to balance that sort of corporate professionalism with the, green mission.
And building a distinct brand identity seems pretty important to them from the get-go.
They've also got this focus idea. It lets users kind of zero in on their specific interests.
And connect with others in that same niche. Helps make a big network feel smaller, more relevant.
Yeah, and the tagline ties into that. Choose your focus, change the future. It's catchy.
That focus aspect feels pretty crucial for actual engagement, doesn't it? Making sure the connections in info are targeted.
Visually, it looks like greens, purples, blues, standard clean fonts like Roboto, modern look.
Makes sense. Accessible, professional.
Now, how do you get in? Seems like there's free access for basics, like syndicated articles, blogs, event info.
Yeah, that's the hook. Get people in the door, show them the value, establish CARDI as an information source. It's a pretty standard network building play.
But, okay, how do they plan to make money? The Brainstorm mentions three main streams.
Right. Ad revenue is one. Then membership fees for what they call LinkedIn-like ecosystem.
And fees for warm introductions. Interesting term.
So it's that freemium model, basically. Free access to draw people in, paid tiers for the serious users who want more networking or deeper access.
Let's look at those tiers. Free we mentioned, then professional, monthly, or annual fee.
And that unlocks the full database, a personal profile, access to something called the green market.
And those warm introductions, though you still pay a fee for each one.
Plus some other perks, like referrals to an AI matchmaker, discounts at the parent company, Harmonic Sentience, priority support if you pay annually. Standard stuff to encourage commitment.
Tell me more about this warm introduction feature. It's got a specific price structure, $29.99 for the first one each month, then $49.99 second.
Yeah, so the idea is you pay that fee, and CARDI acts like a broker. They put together a research packet on who you want to connect with.
Okay.
Then they do the outreach, see if there's interest, and try to schedule the meeting. Or they let you know if it's a no-go. It's facilitated networking, basically.
Got it. And the platform itself looks like standard sections, landing page, media, events, pricing.
Network, partners, contacts. Pretty standard website structure. Makes it easy to navigate.
They mention teasers for the network section. So hinting at what paid members get.
Exactly. A little preview to encourage upgrades. Common tactic.
Now, the real core seems to be this CARDI database. It's broken down into different parts. Focus areas first.
Right, and they even suggest gamifying those, like factions. That's an interesting twist to boost engagement.
Could be. Then under those focus areas, they list companies and technologies.
And there's a separate green marketplace, sounds like that's specifically for tech, looking for partners, or maybe funding.
There's also a members section described as curated. It mentions paid due diligence. What do you make of that?
That suggests they're vetting the members listed there to some degree. Adds a layer of trust, perhaps, especially if you're looking for serious business or investment connections.
And finally, events. Just profiles of relevant clean tech events. So, all in all, it's aiming to be pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, like a central nervous system for Cleantech. Information, networking, deal flow, all under one roof with a specific brand.
Okay, let's make this more concrete. They highlight a specific technology. Perovskite solar cells. We've got some docs on that.
Ah, yes, perovskites. Definitely a hot topic in solar. They're positioned as next-gen tech.
Supposedly cheaper or more efficient, more versatile than traditional silicon panels.
That's the promise. The documents talk about an efficiency revolution, labs hitting over 34% for tandem cells.
That does sound like a big jump, doesn't it?
It really is. Silicon is kind of hitting its limits, efficiency-wise, so materials like perovskites offer a path to potentially much higher energy conversion.
And it's not just efficiency. They stress cost and versatility, too, like low-temp manufacturing, inkjet printing, roll-to-roll.
Yeah, that could drastically cut production costs compared to silicon. Plus, they can be lightweight, flexible, even semi-transparent.
Think about building integrated solar. Lots of possibilities there.
Absolutely. And the documents mention rapid innovation too, improvements in durability, finding lead-free options, recycling.
Durability's been a big hurdle, right? Sensitivity to moisture, heat.
Exactly. So the fact that they're actively tackling those issues and the environmental angle with lead-free materials, that's crucial for long-term viability.
Okay, step back. What is a perovskite, technically? It's about the crystal structure.
Precisely. It refers to a specific crystal structure, ABX, like calcium titanate. But for solar cells, we're usually talking about synthetic hybrid materials, organic, inorganic stuff that adopt that structure.
And that structure gives them special electronic and optical properties, making them great light absorbers.
That's the key. They're very efficient at converting photons to electrons, and you can tune their composition, tweak them for specific light wavelengths or applications. Plus, being able to process them from solutions, like printing thin films. That's a huge manufacturing advantage.
The docs list the technology readiness level, TRL4, so proven in the lab, but not quite market ready.
Correct. TRL4 means the basic tech works under controlled conditions. Now the challenge is scaling up, proving real-world reliability and durability, getting through regulations. Still steps to go before commercial rollout.
And CARDI lists this under renewable energy. Development status. R&D, first developed around 2009, last updated on their site April 2025.
That timeline really shows how fast this field is moving. From discovery around 2009 to this TRL level now is pretty quick.
They also list related topics, solar energy, photovoltaics, tandem cells, and some FAQs, though we don't have the answers. Things like commercial availability, environmental impact.
Right, anticipating the key questions people will have. Is it green? When can I buy it? Important context for anyone considering this tech.
So perovskites seem like a perfect example of what CARDI wants to feature, right? Innovative tech needing connections.
Absolutely. It's the kind of thing that might be looking for R&D partners, scale-up funding, manufacturing expertise, exactly the connections CARDI says it wants to facilitate.
Okay, let's switch gears from tech to a company profile. Agritech Solutions. This gives us another angle.
Right, a company focused on sustainable agriculture. Also fits under that broad clean tech umbrella. Founded 2017, based in Copenhagen.
Fairly small, 1150 employees. And their mission is about precision agriculture using tech to cut water and chemical use, improve yields, soil health.
That's a big area, using data, sensors, automation to make farming more efficient and sustainable. Definitely a key part of the clean tech landscape.
Now, what's interesting here are the metrics. Growth score, heat score, total funding, all listed as NA, no funding data.
That could mean several things. Maybe they're bootstrapped, self-funded, or they have private funding they haven't announced, or they're just early stage, haven't raised significant capital yet. The NA scores might just mean CARDI doesn't have enough data to calculate them yet.
No related articles listed yet either, and the contact info includes an address in San Francisco, which looks like CARDI's address, and a phone and email.
That shared address is curious. Could mean they're closely linked, maybe an early partner, or even an example profile CARDI is set up initially. Not totally unusual for a new platform.
And there's a big Claim This Company button on the profile. What does that signal?
That strongly suggests CARDI is populating profiles proactively, maybe scraping data or doing initial research, and then letting the companies themselves take control and verify or update the info. Common way to build out a database quickly.
But requires good verification.
Definitely. You need companies to buy in and keep the info accurate.
So Agritech Solutions seems like a good example of the type of company CARDI wants on the platform. Sustainable focus, tech innovation, potentially looking for visibility or connections.
Exactly. It shows the practical side of connecting innovators in specific fields like sustainable ag within this broader network.
Okay. Now this is where the story takes a, well, unexpected turn. We need to bring in this PhD level comprehensive case study report.
Right. And this isn't about CARDI directly initially. It's about a dispute between an AI developer, Arviell Simmons,
And Brett Johnson, who was CEO of the Altru Institute. And Altru is where CARDI seems to have been initially developed.
And Altru Institute is described as a 501c nonprofit social welfare focus. So that's the context.
The case study lays out allegations from Mr. Simmons. He claims systematic underpayment, promises not kept, his work expanding way beyond scope.
And crucially, lack of acknowledgement for intellectual property he says he developed for Altru, specifically around their data infrastructure, AI, and even strategic content.
And the timing is key here. Their work together, though intermittent, was between early 2022 and late 2024.
Which lines up perfectly with when you'd expect the foundational work for something like the CARDI network to be happening.
The case study details some of Simmons' alleged contributions, like the BCMG database architecture tiered data model schema.
That sounds an awful lot like the kind of database needed to run a network like CARDI, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Organizing all that info on companies, tech, people.
He also reportedly worked on AI agents, a profile handler brain, codenamed Nicola, for research automation and profiling, and a GPT agent training program for a multi-agent system.
Wow. Yeah, those AI capabilities would be incredibly valuable for a platform trying to intelligently connect users and surface relevant information. That sounds pretty advanced.
And apparently he was involved in strategic content and platform development for other Altru projects too, things called the Davos Consortium, AIN, the Hydrogen Consortium.
So his role wasn't just coding in a back room. It sounds like he was potentially involved in shaping the strategy and content of initiatives closely related to CARDI's eventual form.
Then there are the financial disputes, alleged underpayment, inconsistent payments, routed through some entity called Healthcare Investment Digests.
That is unusual. Routing payments through an unrelated sounding entity definitely raises flags about financial practices. And underpaying for specialized AI work, if true, is a serious claim.
And the core of it seems to be his claim of unauthorized and unacknowledged utilization of significant intellectual property he developed by Altru.
That's the heart of it. If he built foundational tech that's now powering CARDI without credit or proper compensation, that's a major issue, ethically and maybe legally.
So what happened next? Simmons eventually left and launched Harmonic Sentience, his own company.
Right, and this case study, it was compiled by an AI using info Simmons provided, dated just May 11/12/2025. Very recent.
Using AI to compile the report? That says something about his expertise, maybe? And the timing, right as Harmonic Sentience and CARDI seem to be emerging.
It suggests he's very serious about documenting his side of the story.
So here's the direct link. Harmonic Sentience, CARDI's parent company, was founded by the guy Arviell Simmons, who claims he was underpaid and his IP wasn't acknowledged for work done at Altru.
Work that seems directly related to the foundations of the CARDI network itself.
Yeah.
Quite a connection.
It really reframes things. It suggests CARDI's core tech, maybe its strategy, might have roots in that disputed work Simmons did for Altru.
And there's more. We also have these deployment notes from January 2022.
Right, early days. And they specifically mention Project Climate, Atmosphere Research, Development, and Investment, CARDI Network as a research project.
Aiming to connect companies with technologies. That's exactly CARDI's mission statement.
So the CARDI concept existed within Altru back in early 2022, right when Simmons started his engagement there.
That timing definitely strengthens the potential link between his work and the network's origins.
These notes also talk about building the CARDI Tech website and attracting high-quality applications to register. Again, sounds just like the CARDI network we see described later.
It really does seem like the core idea was being actively developed at Altru, while Simmons was contributing his skills.
And look at the notes even sketch out an early access model. Tier 1 free. Research articles, materials, compendium, news syndications.
Tier 2, $9.99 per month. Partnership network. That's remarkably similar to the tiered structure CARDI ended up with.
Shows the thinking was there from the start. The free entry point, the paid network access.
Yeah, the continuity of the business model concept from these early notes to the later plans is pretty clear.
And one last piece. A test user profile found in the system dated April 2025.
So just last month, confirms the platform was actively being built and tested very recently.
Around the same time, Simmons was documenting his dispute and launching Harmonic Sentience. The timelines are very tight.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. On the surface, CARDI Network looks like a well-thought-out platform aiming to be a major hub in the Cleantech world. Tiered access, database, networking features.
Right. All seems straightforward, but its parent company, Harmonic Sentience, has this really complex backstory tied to its founder, Arviell Simmons.
And his allegations against Altru Institute underpayment, unacknowledged IP use, concerning work that seems foundational to CARDI itself.
That's the real aha moment, isn't it?
Ah,
Connecting this ambitious new network back to that contentious history, it definitely makes you look at CARDI's origins differently.
it absolutely does.
Okay.
And it leaves us and you listening with some big questions to chew on. For instance, how might these past issues, these allegations, affect CARDI's future, its reputation, its ability to build trust?
Yeah, and what about the nonprofit angle, Ultra being a 501c4? What are the implications when a project seemingly incubated there spins out into a commercial venture like this?
And maybe more broadly, how often do these kinds of IP disputes happen when new online platforms are being built, especially in fast-moving fields like AI and clean tech? Is this common?
It just goes to show you really need to look at the different layers, right? What's presented versus the story underneath. That's what being truly informed is about.
Exactly. Which brings us to a final thought for you. As we look at building the future of clean tech, something based so much on innovation and collaboration, how important is it that we grapple with these kinds of disputes over creation and credit? What does the foundation upon which these new networks are built really tell us?